Hey everybody, and welcome to the Dice Tower. Here, Q&A. I'm answering questions, you're asking questions, and you can go ahead and ask them in the chat here, and I will answer a few of them. Not all of them. I don't answer every question, but I answer a lot. And hey, so 1 week from now, I'll be in Vegas. Looking very much forward to getting out there. It's kind of funny. I'm recording the Dice Tower history this week, and I'm talking about things that we did in the Dice Tower in the past years. And I was talking about how in 2018 I went to so many cons, and we've kind of pulled back from that. And that makes sense, right? Because it gets tiring to go to cons all the time. But then I don't go to a con for a while, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. And so I'm ready to go to Dice Tower West. Very excited about that. I hope you all are excited about that too. So I will see you all there. Someone mentioned, is there a contest? And yes, indeed, there is a contest. So you can enter this contest by emailing us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put the word, what is the word? Retro, R-E-T-R-O, retro, and you can win a $10 gift certificate to Game Nerds. So again, all you have to do to get this is to email us at contest@dicetower.com, put retro in the subject line, and you can win a $10 gift certificate to a great store to buy all kinds of good games online. In fact, let's go to Game Nerds right now and see some games they have there. I'll tell you some games that they're selling right now. You can pre-order Earth for $40. Oh my word, that's a good deal. The new Great Western Trail Argentina for $56. Millie Fury for $40. You can just buy that straight now. Leaders of the New Dawn. That's the expansion for Beyond the Sun. Meadow expansion. Evergreen. Man, I'm looking at good games right and left. You can pre-order Revive. You can get this new Forbidden Jungle. You can get that stupidly sized Quacks of Quedlinburg Mega Box. That's probably not worth your time. Marvel Zombies, whoo, that's expensive. But that's a Kickstarter edition, so I guess you're getting a lot of stuff there. All right, well, lots of great things there. Cool deals, whatever kind of game you might want. All right, so, how are you doing after all the dentist visits over the past couple weeks? Well, I appreciate that. By the way, if you asked a question before Angela did here, then you might have to ask it again, because I'm not going to slide. I'm not going backwards from there. Anyway, I'm fine. I got a crown here, which, oddly enough, I can feel still. I thought it would go away, but I don't know. I never did get this tooth replaced because of I'm poor. Yeah, the doctor was like, yeah, at some point you got to come back, your teeth clean, and I'll check out the rest of your teeth. I'm like, yeah, sure. I probably will have to go back soon. But I'm feeling good right now. Tom, when did you decide to really cull your collection? Some of the older videos show you in front of a huge wall of games. How big is your personal collection now? Okay, so I don't have a personal collection. I have at my house right now, in a personal collection, I have Frosthaven, which I'm not putting in the Dice Tower library, and I have a bunch of kids' games that I play with my kids. That's it. That's my collection. Now, I have the Dice Tower library here that I can access anytime I want, which I own, so you could call it my collection. But I wouldn't have this as my personal collection. There's a lot of games in there that I would never own because I don't like them, but I put them in there because I know other people do. But I used to have a big personal collection, and when I lived in Korea, I had a big collection and big wall of games and everything. And I know when I decided to cull it. I remember I was thinking, it just crossed my mind. I'm like, why am I keeping games I don't even like? Because I kept everything. But if I got a game in, I kept it. With the exception of maybe I traded some games and people for other games. But I kept every game. So why am I keeping the games I don't like? So I just started getting rid of every game I don't like. Well, that was easy. And then as time went by, I was like, why am I keeping the games that I think are okay? I'll never play them. I'm only going to play the games I really like, even if I think it's okay. Then when I moved to America, I was like, well, I really got to cull things down because moving a collection is a pain in the neck. But we moved here, and then my collection grew again. And then at some point, I remember thinking, you know what? I'm just going to pick a number and stick to that number. So I picked 300, I figured, or 350. I figured that's about 1 day a year. Not quite, but 350 is close. 1 game per year. I'll make my collection that size. It won't get any bigger. And I did that, and it felt great. Yeah, it's tough. Sometimes you get a game, you're like, oh, what game's going out? Oh, I haven't played this in years. It's not so hard. Once you start doing it, it gets easier. What was the first board game con I ever attended? Origins. It wasn't a board game con, it's a everything con. What did I think? I thought it was amazing. I was like, whoa! I mean, from the exhibit hall, and to people gaming everywhere. And you know what? It wasn't even that good that year. Finding people to game with was hard. You had to game in corners. There wasn't a real place for board gamers to play games. There was a war room where you could play war board games. But other than that, to play games, we played behind. There was some concession stands. There was a little area where people were playing games there. And I suppose you could play games other places, but I do remember I scheduled a game of D-Mocker with some people, and we started setting the game up, and someone came by. I was like, this table is reserved for something else. And I was like, oh, I guess that's how that works. So I played games, and I had a great time, but it was an overwhelming, like, wow. And then also, you go to a con like that, and I didn't really know anyone. Now, I met some people who said, hey, we've read your reviews. There weren't many people who, they didn't know my face or anything by sight. I had written some reviews. I started writing reviews in 2003, and I didn't go to a convention until a couple years later. And people knew me a little bit from that. But I found board gamers to be pretty friendly people. So that was my first con. Can you please bring back Tom Thinks in the board game breakfast videos? No. I still do them. It's just on Board Game Smorgasbord, and now it's called Back Talk because I include other people in with me as I'm thinking about them. I'm assuming Mark is talking about Dice Tower West. If someone has a Friday to Sunday pass, can they get their pass Thursday evening and start attending after midnight Thursday? I guess. I don't see why you couldn't do that, but I'm a little cautious because I don't know. But that makes sense that you could do that. I don't know about getting the pass. Would you be open to highlighting some great Etsy shops you regularly buy from or possibly making a series? I thought about that, but honestly, my opinion on this one is, I go and I buy from these Etsy shops. I don't know if it's good or not till it comes in. If it comes in, that's great and all. But I figured I'm paying them the money, so that's what they're getting from me. If they send it to me for free, I'm trying to word this in a way. I'm not fishing for free Etsy stuff. I'm going out and looking for things. But they got from me because I sent them the money. It's just not something I'm doing right now. That sounded terrible out loud. I don't know what I was thinking in my head there. What was the best thing you ate this weekend? I did not have a great palate of food this weekend, so I don't know. Does it feel like Christmas every time you do an unboxing video? I suppose. I find that opening stuff for my unboxing videos is often more interesting than what I get for Christmas. Do you think you'll make it to Origins this year? I will not be at Origins this year unless something severely changes, but I've made no plans to be there. I apologize. I can't go there. I'll tell you what, I'm going to Dice Tower West next week. There's another convention that I'm probably going to in June, and I'm not talking about that one yet because it's not set up, but there's another convention, a non-US convention. Then I'm going to Dice Tower East. Then we're going to Gen Con, and we got big news coming about Gen Con. I'll announce that very soon, actually. I'm very excited about Gen Con news. And then Dice Tower Retreat in September, Essen, and then that's it. No, World Series of Board Gaming. World Series of Board Gaming, yes. That one, I'm definitely going to be there. We have just that. I already have my tickets and everything for that one. I'm very excited about the World Series of Board Gaming. But not Origins, sorry. Will Mike be joining crowd surfing remotely after he moves? No, Mike will be in crowd surfings when he comes back. In fact, I already have Mike scheduled to come back for the Spring Spectacular. But No, I'm not doing any more remote shows if I can help it. The remote shows are a real pain in the neck to do. Other than the one I do with Eric, I don't think they play as well as in the studio. Is the Dice Tower West library as up-to-date as the East library? There were a few newer games I was hoping to play that are on the East library website, but not the West. Well, why don't you specifically ask what those games are, Zachary, and I can tell you a little bit. I was just looking at the Dice Tower West library this morning, and I was thinking, wow, they're really on the ball. I see they got 3 copies of Earth in, and some other really newer hot games in the library. For someone trying to break into toy and game industry for their career, what events do you recommend for networking? Gamma Trade Show, if you can swing that. The New York Toy Fair. Those are the 2 that I would probably recommend. Any advice for a new board game YouTube channel? Do something different than everybody else, and do it because it's fun. Also, I don't know what to use to edit videos. Well, I mean, if you have a Mac, the iMovie works really well. If you don't, ask someone who doesn't have a Mac, because I'm not very helpful in that regard. When does the Dice Tower team leave for Dice Tower West? Is there many people not going to Dice Tower West? Well, here's who is going. It's going to be me and Chris and Mike and Z and Roy and Kenny and Camilla. But then there's external people coming in too. We're going to have, who's coming in to help us here? Corey and Mark Streed. Will be there. Ambi will be there. Joey will be there. I know I'm missing some people. I apologize. Who are going to be there? Names are slipping me right now. Sam Healy from the past will be there. So I see Legacy of Dragonholt mentioned, mostly asking why it's dead on RPG Geek on a regular basis. Are there any games like it? Well, I'm sure there is, but I can't think of one off the top of my head that's just a story like that. Do you think that the huge amount of expansions and newness really bumps up your rating of Marvel United? Does that mean it will just end up going down in your ratings after you play Season 3? I'm assuming you'll have to clarify here, Brady. Do you mean like post playing Season 3? Like, I think Season 3 would make me like it even more. But I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, because when did Season 3 get me more excited about it? But it's been a year now since the other new content's come out, and has it been a year? I don't know. But I'm still enjoying it a lot. Are you taking any special games from the Dice Tower library to West? I don't know yet. I mean, my Ready, Set, Bet game's coming, because we're running that humongous Ready, Set, Bet game. Very exciting. 12 tables at the same time. That's going to be a spectacular event at Dice Tower West. I don't know. We're bringing our Comic Hunters. I know that's going for sure. Other than that, I'm not 100% sure if we're bringing anything. Are you happy with the All Play sponsorship? Well, I wouldn't tell you if I wasn't, except I am. Yes, it's working really well. We're thankful. Me and Z played Flesh and Blood, but I feel like we need to play some more decks before we can really do a review. Jacob, I'll be coming to Dice Tower West this year alone. We just had a kid. Congratulations. My wife wants to come with a kid maybe next year to a different Dice Tower event. What's the minimum age for kids? Well, it's going to be different at every event. Like Dice Tower Retreat, we don't allow kids there, but we're not anti-kid. It's just that's not a kid event. It's for adults. Dice Tower East, I believe the minimum age is 7. I'm sure I'll hear the response if it's not. Just because, again, it's a big convention. Little kids have a struggle at conventions unless you have specific kids' rooms for them, and that's a very pricey, expensive thing to do. Dice Tower West, I don't know what the age limits are on that off the top of my head. So I apologize. Cruise, you can bring anyone you want, but we're still not going to let babies and toddlers in the gaming room, but there's other things that they can do. Just as a heads up, anyone under the age of 7 almost definitely doesn't want to go to a board game event anyway. They want to do other things. And I recommend that you do those other things with the kids, if you can. I find culling hard with kids because they play with the bits and then get sad when I sell them, even if they never play the game. Oh, okay. I'll be talking about the winners of the Cannes Festival in board game Smorgasbord this week. There isn't a shuttle from the Las Vegas airport to the Rio, is there? I don't know, but there's taxi and Uber, so I don't see that it's a big deal. It's really easy to get there. That's one of the, I find that the Vegas airport, for whatever you might say about Vegas, getting from that airport to the different cons is very, very simple and easy. Tom, I'm curious what your opinion of an LCG, a living card game is, and would Summoner Wars fit into that? Well, Fantasy Flight might have words since they've patented or trademark, I think is the right word, that thing. You can't say living card game, but I know what you mean. A living card game is like a collectible card game, but there's no randomness. You buy decks. I don't think Summoner Wars is close to being a living card game. You buy these decks, there's a little bit of deck building, but you wouldn't buy multiple decks of Summoner Wars, while with the living card games, you might buy multiple decks to get cards to mix together. I don't know, it's all hazy and messed up, so they're similar. You don't have to tell us you're going to Dice Tower West and Dice Tower East. We already know. No, it's good for me to remind people. What's the process for creators hosting a segment in Board Game Breakfast? You must get quite a few people suggesting segments they like to create. How do you choose which to green light? I don't know. I just choose. I will say that I'm not, at the moment, particularly looking for new contributors. I feel like we have a lot of good ones in there. But yeah, just something that I do on my own. If I was to bump into you at Essen or UK Games Expo, are there some snacks or perhaps an alcoholic beverage I should have in my bag? Well, I'm a teetotaler, so an alcoholic beverage is not going to get you very far. For snacks, I don't know, any kind of beef jerky will bond for life on that stuff. Doesn't have to be beef jerky, just jerky in general. How is training coming along with your puppy? Oh, I see the light, folks, at the end of the tunnel. She does not hardly ever pee in the house at this point in time, so that's good. I got both dogs using the dog door now. She still wakes us up a couple times in the middle of the night, not last night, for example. The dogs still fight all the time. I think it's playful. I'm not sure. And they do weird things like the older dog, older by, a year and a half, but she won't let the puppy get near the food dishes every once in a while. She'll guard him. But then as soon as she's not looking, the puppy runs up and eats as fast as she can and then runs away. I'm like, all right, whatever. They still both bark and get excited when visitors come over. So we need to calm that down a little bit. But yeah, for the most part. Mike is moving, says Private Vendetta, who does not watch Board Game Smorgasbord. If you can, watch that. We explain it. But the long and the short of it is Mike is moving back to Indianapolis. He's still going to be full-time with us here at the Dice Tower. Obviously, things will change. He won't be able to be on all the different shows with us. But don't worry. We're bringing him back for everything I can think of. For the Spectaculars, he'll be back. We're also pre-recording top 10s that we'll post while he's gone. He'll still be doing reviews and his stuff from up there. And he'll be at our conventions. I really want to play Feed the Kraken at West, but I've not seen it in the West Library. Well, that's something you'll have to ask them. That's one that's too big for us to lug with us from here. When is the Spring Spectacular? That is a good question. The Spring Spectacular is in April. I'll have exact dates. We'll announce it soon. I have them. I just don't have the calendar in front of me. I remember you saying that you plan on making content from you visiting local game stores. Yeah, once the van's up and running, we are going to go visit some stores in Florida, for sure. Do you wear hats when you're off the job as well? Yes, I like wearing hats. I try to wear a hat when I'm outside. I don't wear hats inside, except when I'm on camera like this. But I wear hats when I walk around, and when I go different places, I like to wear hats. Marvel Zombie Comic Hunters and Evergreen. Comic Hunters is there. I really feel like I saw Evergreen was just at it. I really feel like that's true. I might be wrong, but I thought I saw that. Marvel Zombies, I don't know about. Travis, John says he's going to kick your butt. I don't know what you did to him, but all right. Do I still play Marvel Snap? Yeah, this is really funny to me that I have when we did the Marvel Snap review, I had the lowest ranking of it, and yet I am by far the person who's played it the most. Z plays it a decent amount. Him and me play it the most. Yeah, I played Marvel Snap. Did I play it today? I did. I played it this morning. So there you go. It's a nice thing I do. I'll be at breakfast, kind of waking up, drinking some tea, and I play a game or two of Marvel Snap. Are you planning to do anything Vegas-y while you're at Dice Tower West? Yeah, we're going to go to one of the Cirque du Soleil shows. And I'm going to eat. Will there be more Foursquare-esque reviews coming? Oh, we have those all the time. We do reviews with multiple people every week now. It's not always 4. Sometimes it's 3, but we have a lot of group reviews. Who is the best Mario Kart player in your house? It's close, but it's one of my 2 daughters for sure. When we play, it's probably Violet. But I give her a little bit of a run for money. But I think they're a little better than me. Jimmy's pretty good too. So we have some good races nowadays. And my go-to character is Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong. Roz13137 says, I certainly saw babies at Dice Tower East, especially in the family room, but they were not proud. But babies are not allowed at Dice Tower East. Babies coming in, that's something that we didn't make really clear in the past. We're making it clearer now. It's a tough... The thing about babies is they bother people around them, the other people there, and you can say people need to get over that, but they paid to be there. And even if your baby's quiet and good, once we let one baby in, we let all babies in. And so, unfortunately, that's just the way it is for now. My grandson, baby, was at Dice Tower East. But on that, and to be an example, he was not at the con. The only time you saw him was at the very front of the con. We took a picture together. But he didn't come in the con. When my daughter and her husband wanted to play games, my wife watched them, and then they watched them when my wife played games. Who is the person you most frequently play games with? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know if there is any one person. I play games with everyone I can. Have you ever tried Snake River Farms beef jerky? I have not, but I need to now know what this is. So we got Snake River Farms beef jerky. Let me look at it first and see. Interesting. Apparently they sell straight up beef too, and not for, oh my word, a Grill Hero Pack. Wow. These guys, oh, that's Wagyu, that's why. Ah, this is expensive. I'm not seeing beef jerky on here though. Beef roast, briskets, dry-aged beef and steaks. Is that where it would be under? No. Huh. Snake River Farms beef jerky. I'm not seeing it on here at all. Oh, there it is. Beef jerky. $24 for 10 ounces. Whew. It does look good. But I don't know. That seems kind of pricey. I have too many things open there. All right. Could a trick-taking game with dice instead of cards work? Yes, one exists, but for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of it. But there definitely is one. What do you consider a quintessential Pennsylvanian breakfast? I don't know that Pennsylvania is much different than the rest of the Northeast. I mean, it's the same. Pancakes, waffles, cereal, bacon, toast, omelets. I don't think Pennsylvania does anything particularly different. Not when I was there, I don't remember anything. There's more hash and spam maybe and things like that, but not much. Will the new van have airbrush art with the entire Dice Tower crew as centaurs running along rainbows? No. You'll see when it's done. Did you play the Last of Us video game? Are you considering it after watching the show? No, I don't think I would play it. But see, I don't even know what the game is, actually. I know it's a zombie-esque game, and I don't really like playing zombie video games much. They don't interest me at all. So probably not anyway. I've only seen up to the end of episode 3 of Last of Us. It's kind of a depressing-esque show, and I don't know why I'd want to play a depressing-esque video game. A friend of mine is trying to get you to buy Girl Scout cookies. Yeah, that hasn't happened here at the Dice Tower. No one has a daughter in Girl Scout, so that's a nice benefit. Don't try to get us to do them. They try to already hit me up here at all the entrances to the stores. But I like the peanut butter ones the best, the chocolate peanut butter ones. There's a segment where Roy and Z did where they do votes like which movie is the best or which game is the best. Why that same? We have all different segments come in and out. And I don't need to be like, well, this one got removed because of this and that. We just change things all the time here. There's no specificity to why things happen or don't happen. Sometimes we get tired of doing them. Sometimes I cut stuff. There's all sorts of reasons. We just try to make the best possible show that we can. By the way, you asked, does anyone at the Dice Tower smoke? I have considered it. It just would be, like, I need to get a new grill. I know a lot of people swear by these smokers, but I haven't done it. And man, it tastes really good, smoked food. So I've considered getting into smoking, but I have not done it yet. I really need a new grill first. I think a grill's more important than a smoker. But again, I've heard just good things about it. Now that I have my own little house and a spot to put these things, that could happen in the future. I was about to say something else too, and I forget what it was. Was there a question? Oh, it was about something. I was going to tell you guys something. Oh, well. Biggest board game pet peeve? Oh, come to Dice Tower West where we do our top 5 things we're tired of. That'll be there. As a kid, was there a food that your parents put in front of you that you absolutely refused to eat? You were willing to sit there for hours just to not eat it? No. There's foods I don't like for sure. I ate everything. I ate everything my parents gave me. I always ate my food, even if I didn't like it. Ah, yeah, that's right. Scrapple is a Pennsylvania thing, but that's like very specific. Not a ton of people eat it. Top 3 jerkies that are not beef. I wouldn't know off the top of my head. Gator jerky is good. Ostrich is good. And what else have I had that I liked a lot? Elk, maybe. I guess I go with those 3. Would you ever consider doing a video on how you run a Kickstarter? It might be interesting for viewers interested in launching their own campaigns. Maybe, but we do things so differently than everybody else. So I don't know if that would be very helpful because we really do stuff a lot different. Do I call them dippy eggs? I never heard of that. Sunny side up is what I call them. But I like over easy better than sunny side up anyway. What mechanic would you completely obliterate from existence? I've had good luck with car mechanics, so I don't know that I would obliterate any of them. I guess there's been some that haven't done a great job, but I still wouldn't obliterate them from existence. Goodness. Goodness. Yeah. Infected people, not zombies. It's all the same. They're all infected people. That's what a zombie is. A schedule for the Kickstarter marathon. That's a good point. I need to get that on the schedule. I think I know when I'm going to do it. I just need to double check with a few other things. Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier. So now that we have a van, some of us are going to be driving the van to and from Gen Con. So we're going to go from Homestead all the way up to Indianapolis, which is like a 19-hour trip or 18-hour trip, whatever. I would love to stop somewhere along the way. So if you are or work with a local game store and you'd love us to have a Dice Tower, a game night there, get in touch with me. Now, it's going to need to be somewhere midway between those two. We can do it on the way up to Gen Con. We can do it on the way back. We might do one each. I know Atlanta's a little bit in the halfway area, but these things are possible. I'm not promising anything, but if you know of a store or someone who might be interested in that, let us know. My favorite flavor of Jelly Belly is the Juicy Pear by a mile. Well, the peach one's pretty good too, but Juicy Pear. And then the sour ones are really good. But Juicy Pear, baby. Oh, people are telling me all different kinds of smokers to use now. Well, that's fantastic. But I'm not seriously considering that right now. It's more of an off-brand thing. I'd rather get a grill first. Let's see here. When is the first of the monthly game shows? Give me a bit of time to still get that stuff together. We'll announce it when it comes. Smoking meat was my COVID hobby. Would you like me to bring you some smoked bacon, wrap jalapeno poppers to pizza meetup at Gen Con? I don't know why you're asking that question. It's so obviously yes to that. Please. How loud is the convention hall at Dice Tower East if you're sitting by a table and talking? Are you talking a bit louder than usual? Well, I think all cons are loud, right? It all depends on how high the ceiling is. You don't realize it, but a lower ceiling, it makes it more difficult to talk back and forth. But I found myself able to hear people. I mean, if at the same table most of the time, it doesn't seem to be too bad. That's what I've found. Especially now we're out of the masks, because with masks, I always had to like really lean in to hear people, because you don't realize how much you look at someone maybe when you're talking to them, but that also muffles people too. So I think it's not that bad. What am I playing now on Steam? I'm not playing anything on Steam currently, but I'm looking. I need some new Steam things. So I'd love to get some new Steam stuff, because I have splurged and I have bought myself a Steam Deck that I want to use when I travel. This is one thing that kids don't seem to care about. So I got a Steam Deck and I put all my Steam stuff on it, but I was thinking, what other Steam stuff might there be? What other Steam things would I be interested in playing? So, for an example, what do I have on the Steam Deck right now? I got all my big games like Skyrim and all that. I got Civ 6. I guess I could put Civ 4 on it too if I wanted to. I got XCOM. I got a lot of different games. What's a good game to get for it? Let me know. Western Pennsylvania is very different from Eastern Pennsylvania. No kidding. I always tell people Pennsylvania is essentially 2 states. So that is true. How do you guys decide what games to review? Whatever we pick. There is no real strong process. Obviously, we will cater to some hot games, but you'll notice we go out of our way to review games that aren't hot. And I've always been very proud of that as Dice Tower, and we'll always stick with that. Yeah, we're going to review the hottest and greatest stuff, but we're also going to review stuff that nobody else will even look at. And I'm pleased about that because we'll get. Now, we don't guarantee that. I never guarantee reviews because we get hundreds of games. We can't review them all, but we review a lot of them. Do you prefer clearance Easter candy or clearance Halloween candy? That's a tough call, but I'm going to go with clearance Easter candy. Clearance Halloween candy is tempting because of the delicious pumpkins, Reese's Pieces, peanut butter cups, but discount Cadbury cream eggs? Come on now. Are Cadbury cream eggs out in stores yet? I'm really in the mood for one now. Is anyone but the A team allowed to use the van? All right. Just curious, why was Dice Tower apparel not included as a Kickstarter backing option? Because we already have Dice Tower apparel. You can find it at our dicetowerstore.com, and you can get Dice Tower apparel there. And I want to have that as a separate thing. Do you sometimes have nights with Z, Roy, and the others and actually not talk about board games? Look, we not talk about board games all the time. We're around each other. And when you're at your work, you don't talk about just work. You talk about other stuff too, right? That's how it works. Starburst jelly beans are better than Jelly Bellies. I don't know if that's true. In fact, I'll tell you right straight up, it's a lie. But Starburst jelly beans are very good. Has anyone told you that you talk about board games too much? Not really, because I don't really talk about board games to anybody unless they're interested in hearing about board games. Like at my church, I almost never bring up board games. It almost never comes up because that is not, I don't feel like if someone isn't interested in your hobby, I'm not going to talk that much about it. Let's see here. What makes a game generic fantasy and why is it off-putting? It's off-putting because it feels a little boring. Generic fantasy, if you pick basic classes like warrior, you have warrior, priest, archer, paladin, mage, and then you fight goblins and orcs and skeletons. It's just the same old stuff you always see, and that just feels a little generic. Yes, I know it's all from D&D initially, but it just feels a little bit generic, and it's off-putting because I want to be able to differentiate one game from the rest of these games. By the way, for people, talking about us driving to Gen Con and back, and I would need a store owner, if possible, or a manager to get in touch with me about it, because that would be something we would like to work out and come in and have some sort of game night with people in that area. I think that would be a fun thing to do. And if we can't find any, so be it, Maybe there's a game club that we could stop at on the way up to or something. That's not your back garage thing. Is Millie Fury really not worth it at 2 players? It's not as good with 2 players as it is with 4. So, there's a lot of great 2-player games out there, though. Did I pick up King's Dilemma for Steam? No, but I already played King's Dilemma as a board game. So, Chained Echoes is great for the Steam Deck. All right. Well, let's see what this is here. I'm not going to look at every recommendation here because I'll be here all day. Chained Echoes. A story-driven JRPG where a group of heroes travel around the vast continent to bring an end between its 3 kingdoms. Well, sounds good so far. Came out for... I've never... Ooh. Well, it sounds interesting. All right. You've sold me. There you go. Oh, wow. People are giving me a lot of these. Dead Cells. Well, so here's the deal. So I've been playing Dead Cells on my iPad, which I had to buy a controller for, and I've been enjoying Dead Cells a lot. But the problem I'm running into Dead Cells is the same problem I run into a lot of these roguelike games is I'm getting through and I'm fighting stuff and doing all these things and I'm slowly collecting the cells and dead cells and then I turn them in and yada yada, and it's actually a much longer process than people are saying. Then I get to the boss and he kicks my butt. And then I go through again, I get to the boss and he kicks my butt. And, after a while, I think I get tired of these bosses kicking my butts. I don't know. And you can't really go farther until you pass these bosses. So that part is a little mad to me, I suppose. I would like to fight and beat a boss. I'm just not get good, I guess, is the thing there, but I don't know. There's a lot of games here. If you really feel strongly about a game, then email me at tom@dicetower.com about that game. If you can, a link would also be great if you can point me to a link to the game. Tom, I'm curious, do you do any video editing yourself? Not much these days, so I stick to the high-level stuff. Well, yes, but so high-level stuff here, yes. I help build schedules here for the Dice Tower. I help... I do payroll. I do lots of accounting. I mean, I do tons of behind-the-scenes paperwork and all that jazz. I also pick up and straighten the shelves out. That's high-level work, too. And I definitely have a bit of hands-on in a lot of different things, and I do all the reviews on my own. So, yeah, I don't do the video editing that much. But also, Chris and Roy are way better than me at video editing, and Mike, so let them do that. How's the temperature in the studio today? Well, the air conditioning is working, if that's what you're asking. Are any of the Dice Tower crew big sports fans? No, we were just talking about this. Mike and Camilla are probably the biggest two sports fans. With the limited time one has and so many great games, how do you overcome FOMO? I don't know how to explain it. I just don't care. I can't get to all the games, and so be it. So yesterday, for 5.5 hours, we played Aeon's Trespass, which is a 300-hour game, apparently. And that seems right? 5 hours times at least 10 times that length times, well, maybe we played a little faster. I don't know. And it's great. It's fun. Interesting stuff. We'll have a full opinion on it. We'll see where I'm going to end up on it. There's problems, but there's good things. But I'm never going to play all of it, I don't think. So, is that okay? Can I survive that? Yeah, I can. Do I play World of Warcraft? I do not. If I had to commit to a long-term RPG, I'd like to play some sort of fantasy universe. D&D would be fine by me. Florida is a long state. Indeed, it is. What's my favorite Old Testament event in the Bible? Elijah and the prophets of Baal? Probably. Are you bringing the Ready, Set, Bet tourney to Dice Tower East? Probably not. Now, Ready, Set, Bet, my deluxe copy of it, will be there. That's going to be fantastic. But I always try to do something unique at each con. The cons aren't going to be carbon copies. So Dice Tower East will have a Wits and Wagers tournament and some other things. Dice Tower West is going to have Ready, Set, Bet. At least that's my thing for now. Have I seen Chief Sokotoa lately? Well, no. Well, let's see. Well, technically, we did Vis a Vava last night, which is kind of a quick communications that you do through, think of an S-shaped connection through alternate realities. It was a couple of rocks ago. So Chief Sokotoa and I I just briefly advised. I didn't help, but there was a plethora of these small sentient diamonds that had come to life. And they seemed to be building their own civilization. Everything seemed to be fine, but there was another group that came in, and in that group's home country, or home world, where they were, a neighboring world, they were, what were they called, the Javagamans? So the Javagamans, diamonds there were very valuable, which coincidentally, they're also very valuable here on Earth. But the Javagamans came in and were just like taking diamonds, taking the people, taking their houses. It was a pretty brutal thing. And since they're sentient, we had to step in to stop this. So we did step one, which is go to Javagans and be like, hey, knock it off. This is a much more condensed version than what happened. And we're hoping they're like, oh, sorry, because they seem to be on, hey, maybe you didn't know that these folks were sentient. The diamond folks, by the way, were they called something like that. We'll just call them DDs for short. So the DDs were like, hey, these things are sentient. And we found that they did, and in fact did not care, which was a problem. So at that point, we say, back off, or we're going to make your life terrible. And they did not back off. And at that point, we send in the team. So Chief Sokotoa and a team of, I believe it was, well, that's actually none of your business, I suppose. I can't be telling you what the exact composition of the team is. But Chief Sokotoa took a team in, and they stopped them. We sabotaged their outgoing space vessels. They are now stuck on their planet. They didn't really have a lot of communication with the other planets in that system anyway. So we determined that their trade would not be particularly affected. Their economy would not crash. And we also liberated all the DDs that we could find there. There's still some missing, but Chief Sokotoa and some guys are on an undercover mission and rescuing them as we speak, or last week, or I don't know. But that was interesting. So we kind of went by the book. There wasn't a lot out of the way. I wasn't used to one world being so insensitive towards another, but the lure of diamonds, I suppose. Diamonds are Devagian's best friend. All right, anyway. How many pieces was the biggest Lego kit you ever built? I don't know, like 800. I'm too poor to buy big Lego kits. Let's see here. Oh, Super Rookie gifted 5 Dice Tower memberships. Well, thank you, Super Rookie. That's very nice of you to gift people memberships here. Let's see. There's nothing Star Trek-y, by the way, about Chief Sokotoa. Star Trek is a very, very not really the way the universes work. When Chief Sokotoa's involved, I mean, the best thing to think of would be a little bit Mission Impossible, but done in just a vast universe, which most people have no comprehension with how wide it is. I mean, what he's doing here, if you think about it, we're not even getting paid to do this. I mean, yes, technically we draw a salary that they don't know we're still doing from the Ubliga administration, which is the 653rd president of Earth, actually, but not our Earth. It's a different Earth. It's one that's in a sideways dimension. Yeah, so I'm just proud of him. He's a good man. Alrighty, let's see here. Let's look here. Tom and Chief is an alternate version of Rick and Bird Person. Well, we would not fight each other to the death, that's for sure. The new Lord of the Rings Lego set has me tempted to take out a second mortgage. Well, I don't know what this is. New Lord of the Rings Lego set. Ooh. The Council of Elrond. Wait. Is this what you're talking about? Because that can't be right. That's only 243 pieces, and it's $193. There we go. Riverdale. Whoa. 6,137 pieces? Well, that's really cool. Looks kind of small, though, comparatively, though. It's going to be $500? Okay. Well, I don't know if that like goes. It's 15 inches high, 30 inches wide, and 20 inches deep, and splits into 3 sections. That looks cool, but that's a lot of money for that. I'm just going to have to be like, no. I'm not even really tempted by that. Okay. I've been away from the finances to purchase games since the end of 2019, looking for something to replace Terraforming Mars as the wife and my go-to game. I suggest you research the new game, Earth. Vanessa says I just bought a tablet and it didn't cost me that much. There you go. What was your favorite toy when you were little? When I was very little, I wouldn't remember because I can't remember that much, but Hot Wheel cars. Didn't we just do our top toys? I think we just recently did it. When you read for fun, do you still speed read? Yeah, I can't help it. I really do. And do I visualize what you're reading like a movie? Yeah, I don't know how people couldn't do that. I always imagine what's going on in the stories that I read. I'm currently reading it's a free series on Amazon. It's called Steiger's Tigers. I don't know. I just randomly picked something and started reading it. And it's about this, it feels like a Roman centurion type story about this guy named Steiger. And he goes to a camp and he starts training men and yada yada, except his best friend's an elf. But the world feels very Roman-esque. It's not, but it feels very Roman-esque. And then dwarves show up and demons and stuff, but it's not, the world's not necessarily like steeped in fantasy. It's like more, it's there, but it's not everywhere. Not everything's fantasy in it. It feels like someone took a medieval Europe a bit, or not pre-medieval Europe, but added a bunch of fantasy on the side. So far I'm interested. I'm in the 3rd book, so there's that. Let's see here. People are talking about Lego sets. I've been playing Hot Wheels Unleashed Racing on Xbox. Well, yeah, I played that on, me and my son play that occasionally on the PlayStation. How's your search for the van going? The search for the van is over. We have the van. The van has been caught and tamed. It has 12 seats. What do I think of cinnamon flavored candies? They're fine. I don't know that I love them, but there's something I would do if I needed a breath mint or something. I don't mind that it's cinnamon. I like spearmint better than cinnamon, but they're fine. If you're talking about those little red hot hearts, those are good, but I don't know. I don't necessarily eat those for pleasure. Nick says, I thought you said cinnamon flavored candles. I also thought that's what he's like. I'm like, who is eating a candle? Oh my, I'm catching up on questions. I know I'm not answering every question. So how long before we can see that van? Well, once I get it painted. There's a lot of steps in the process here, actually. Have I ever played a board game in the style the way the Dragon's Tomb explains it? And the answer to that is no. Are you planning to use the van more for moving games or moving people? Yes. Would it be difficult for Mike to review the same game with you guys in the future? Probably, but it will happen on occasion for sure. You can still subtly attach a dice tower in the van. Well, you could do it non-subtly too, I suppose. What type of van is it? It is a Chevy something. They always have these names that I always forget, like Excitement, Redeeming, Enlargement, Envision. I don't know what it is. We might come to Tampa at some point, so keep an eye out for that. Again, if there's a store in Tampa that wants to set up some sort of game day where we come in, I'll definitely come up in the van and we'll go to Tampa. How easy is it to remove seats from the van? It works. That was the very first question I asked, actually. Have I beaten all the maps in Ark Nova when playing solo? I've never played Ark Nova solo. I probably won't. I don't play big Euros as solo. It's not something that necessarily interests me. When do you read? Whenever I can. If I'm sitting, like if my wife's driving, I'm reading. If I'll be sitting at breakfast, I'm reading. I'll read at night. I just read any chance I get. I like to read. With 12 seats, seems like a Suburban. I don't think so. It's as big as a 15-passenger van. It's pretty big. It looks just like the Ford Ecoline that I used to own. Do you have a big van as a family vehicle? No. Me and my wife both have SUVs. She has an Acadia, and I have something. I don't know what mine is. Mine holds 5. Hers holds 7, I guess, right? 3, 3, 2? No, it's 8. 8. But we only have 6 people in our family now. Let's see here. There's lots of ladder climbing games. Someone's asking for suggestions. Just look for a top 10 ladder climbing game list here. Let's see. Other questions here asking about that. Gen Con. If you could speak another language, what would it be? Well, I guess right now I would say Spanish, right? That would be the most useful thing here in South Florida. I know a little Spanish, but not enough. Has anyone ever accidentally cursed on a Dice Tower video? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Let me see here. People are asking kind of... have you read much by Neil Gaiman? Yeah, I've read some of his stuff, and I enjoy some of his stuff. I'll go back and see if I missed any questions here. I have never caught up on questions this quickly before. I have a new girlfriend. What game should I play with her? We are 30, and she hasn't played many before. Just pick something that you think she'd like. Not something particularly complex. Maybe she does like complex games. Who knows? But just pick something out of a theme that she likes. What is a ladder climbing game? A ladder climbing game, they're often, a better term would be card shedding games, but they're games where you are trying to get rid of all the cards in your hand. So trick-taking game, you're trying to win tricks. A ladder climbing game, you're trying to get rid of everything, but you follow the other person like a ladder. So if you play a single 5, I play a single 7. We can just go higher. If you play a pair of 4s, I have to play a pair of 6s or 7s or whatever. Something that's higher. And you're just trying to get rid of the cards. They have different rules to them. What's my favorite flavor of candle? I don't eat candles. My favorite scents, though, are the cookie ones. They're very good. Video idea. Hot Ones challenge while playing a game? Probably not. I don't think so. Given you have a relationship with publishers, designers, how do you feel about doing mega reviews? We do them. We do them regardless of our relationships with the different people there. Let's see. Dice Tower Cruise in the South Pacific? No. That's not going to happen. No, I've not played Frostpunk yet. Any game you initially didn't like, but after a few plays something clicked and you actually grew to love? Not often. But more on this news on Thursday. Come to watch Board Game Smorgasbord. Is anyone on the Dice Tower team mechanically inclined? Well, yeah, for sure. Kenny is. Z is. Like everyone but me, I think. I don't know anything about mechanics of anything. I'm just glad that people exist who do. I'm like, that's how that fit together. I never realized that. So that sort of thing is helpful. Alrighty, folks. Well, that looks like it for now. We're at 1 o'clock, and I got more videos to put together. There's a lot of videos and stuff that we're getting ready. 1 week from today, I'll be in Vegas. I hope to see you at Dice Tower West, but if you can't make it, that's understandable. Excuse me. I think the sneezing is done. Anyway, if you can't make Dice Tower West, I get it. And I look, I push these. I say, hey, come to Dice Tower East. Still plenty of tickets for that. But I know not everybody can come for various reasons to different cons. But at least we can do this together, right? We can talk and see things. And I will see you all in 2 weeks. I'll be back here doing one of these. But also we'll be doing more live shows this week. On Wednesday, we'll be back with crowd surfing. Thank you all, though, for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic and terrific day. I will see you all next time. Have fun gaming.